How the heck are you, everybody? I'm Fastidious, and I'm joined today by the wonderful J Gigs.
No way. Get him out of here. We don't want any of this kind in here. Good to see you, man.
And we are going to Dolores-Proof your Guild Boss team. Are you ready, sir?
I am so ready.
I can't hear you!
I am so ready.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
Do you know, we talked about it a bit before, do you know what I mean by Dolores-Proof? I think this is something a lot of people could benefit from.
Yeah, I do now. I think. I don't...
Okay.
You have a much deeper understanding of the problems than I do. I just am aware that it doesn't work.
Sometimes it doesn't just work.
So maybe can we start
times.
there? Do you want to talk about the problems and the frustrations you've been feeling the past few weeks?
So, my team, it's a matter of whether or not I'm going to break the third shield. And it's always real close if I'm going to break the third shield. So I have to kind of babysit the run. And I would say it's probably about a 10% chance that we're going to break the shield. So it takes me quite a few runs to get both keys in. And the problem comes where I start a run and momentarily get distracted and don't catch it before the end and do 17,000 or something and basically waste a rune because now the second rune's not going to do me any good either. So I think the goal is to get to a point where maybe it's a little bit more set it and forget it.
Exactly. And I think this is a lot of, I think you've had a couple rants on your channel. I think this is a concern a lot of people have, especially players that have played a ton of raid or these games where it's kind of like you put all your gear on the right heroes for dragon or whatever people do in raid, and then you don't move your gear, right? And there's not so much left to RNG. A lot of the RNG stuff you've controlled for, whereas this, it's like you're moving gear around a lot, so that can create problems. But most importantly, some key heroes have built-in RNG that is unavoidable, and there's no one worse in the game than Dolores. Dolores is arguably the best hero in the game. I think easily could be argued the most important hero to most players for the inspiration she gives. But this inspiration, after you're done giving it, you have a chance to get rage back, right? So this is the problem. This is why you weren't breaking the third shield. So what you can see here is it's this last part here. After a graceful dancing ends, that's her ultimate. That's when you have her awaken 1, 60% inspiration. So lending her attack, 60% of that to all the allies in range. After that finishes, she's got a 50% chance, and then at awaken 5, which you got, 80% chance that she regains basically 1/3 of her rage cost. Because it costs 900, she gets 300 back. But 20% of the time, this don't happen.
Right.
Which you've experienced, I think.
Maybe once or twice, you know?
So if you think about it, I think a lot of people read that and they think, 80% is going to hit most of the time, right? Well, you're doing 4, 5, 6, 7, if you're really aggressive, ults of Dolores during the run. After 5, it's kind of expected you're going to miss it once. If you hyper-tune your comp, which is what we did for anyone who missed it, I did do a Guild Boss takeover for you, I think 3 weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And your heroes weren't as good, your gear wasn't as good, so I wanted to get it for you, so we pushed it to its limit, right? The original goal, I think, was getting that 20k, and then we're like, hey, maybe we can get that 25. We got you 26, but that was with some really aggressive usage of Dolores. And by aggressive usage, sorry, I'm rambling here, but just want to make sure people understand. By that I mean, when the ult was up and we needed it, we were using it. That is not what we're going to do today, and that's what I want to show you. We actually did this last night. I think we've officially fixed your team, made it Dolores-proof, but also teach many viewers the ways of Dolores-proofing. This is something I've started to do with my own stuff, and I do every day almost when I do Guild Boss takeovers. And what it is if people come to me for a takeover, they come to me for advice, they want to have something consistent. And, we were at a point where you were getting 30K or 17K, and that's not cool, right? That's not fun. So what we're going to do here, I timed it all out. I know the number of seconds it is, and I'm going to teach everybody that. I might have to be hyper-focused, but we're going to make it so we're going to assume every time we don't get the roll. We're going to assume every time with this 80% chance, we're going to assume it's a 0% chance, and she never gets it. And we're going to operate with that way, giving you kind of a worst-case scenario, but then at least we've neutralized this randomness, and your auto will actually be, let me go talk to my girlfriend, let me go to the bathroom, and come back, and you have 27K. Not, you come back, and you're like, what the frick happened? So I will say for people who are super sweaty, like me currently, actually, because I'm right on the cusp of 50K if I auto it, but I get about 51.5, 52 if I manual it, I'm manualing it every night, right? And I'm being pretty aggressive. But for a lot of people, until you reach those thresholds, just lock it in, right? Make sure you hit that second shield. Make sure you hit that third shield. That's what we're going to do today. It is important that people kind of keep an eye on their damage and know when it's time. So until recently, I didn't think you had the damage to do it's a very conservative approach, what we're going to do, right? Because we're not triggering those ultimates that are so powerful. But now you pulled Lugaroo. You had a couple more skill ups into some of your heroes, I noticed. Your artifacts got a bit better. Now I've seen that you're ready. We tested it last night. We can put up like a pretty comfy 31, 32K manual. That then translates to like, seems like 27 to 30. I haven't seen it go lower than that. So without further ado, let's hop in here and let's make your life a little less stressful.
All right, let's do it.
Let's make it a bit easier. Any questions before we head in, or should we just do this thing?
No, I don't think so. I'm excited that to get to use Lugaroo, because I had never heard of him.
Yeah.
And then I pulled him and I was like, oh, he looks kind of cool. And then you hit me up out of the blue. I think you were like, now that you've got Lugaroo, we can make some
so
stuff
I will
happen,
say it was they do so many weird things with the patches and updates. Some amazing things will either go unannounced or unnoticed. So Lugaroo got a buff. I believe it was whenever Cratch got his buff, which was a reduction in cost from 25 to 23 or something. But Lugaroo got a buff, and it turned him from like pretty good and kind of average hero who cares, like fine legendary, to he's one of the best guild boss heroes in the game. And I knew your comp because we had said it before, and I was like, you got that nightmare comp. Lugaroo is going to be a lot more fun than Daimos. Let's get it going. So once I saw you had that, and I'd also been keeping up with your progress a bit from your videos, I was like, you're ready. I know like aggressively I could get you like 35, 36, which means conservatively I feel like I could easily get you 30 plus, which means on auto conservatively, because it always goes wrong in some way on auto. I feel like there's no way we wouldn't get like a 27K basement, and that's kind of what we've seen. I did it last night. We got 29K. I'll put a picture of that up right now. And then you've actually done your 2-run stay with the comp I set last night, right? And it was pretty plug and play, right? Looks like you averaged 27K.
I didn't have to redo anything. They got to it handily.
So let's do it.
They broke the third shield.
Yeah.
They broke the third shield the same way they break the second shield. They were so ahead of the game. Like
that's something I'll show you when I'm doing it. I was so conservative with your third shield. I saw the damage was right. I knew we just wanted the 25K. I held everything, and I'm going to do that now. So I'll show everybody.
Okay.
We were just holding, and we're just assuming Dolores never works. That's how we are going to operate. All right, so let's hop on in. I'm going to be pretty pedantic here, buddy. So get ready for that. I'm going to explain everything. We only have 2 invigoration heroes. I think I said before inspiration heroes. So we're going to place Lust, and then we've got Torador. He's an invig hero. Let's quickly pick him up. Now we get Hex. Now our next invig hero is going to be Laurel. Oop, you got to place her, though. Let's get Valeri down. Let's get Lugaroo down. Let's get Pyros here. Now Dolores. And let's get Hollow. So you saw us stopping and starting a bit. For viewers that saw that, you can do like an escape trick to pause it to make it a little faster. But for this, since we're going to be so conservative, it's not so essential. Because I'm that confident this will pay off, because we're treating Dolores like a little baby. So we wait till Hollow gets up about 90%, then we're going to trigger Hex. At this point, I'm just explaining the general strategy. There you go. When she gets a bit over 95, then we can trigger Pyros. We wait. Now we trigger her, trigger Lust. We don't want to do Lust too early, because then she won't have overlap with Dolores. And here comes the problem child. There's Dolores. I'll wait for the full use of the ult from Laurel, just so we actually get that. I'm actually going to take this moment to raise myself slightly, make myself smaller so people can focus on those circles for the rest of the fight. Let's wait till she's completely done with that ult. I'm going to pick her up here. We're going to get Nocturne down. We can put him in the corner. He doesn't need to be in Laurel range, obviously, because him and Laurel are the ones swapping. And now we wait. Here comes the second Meteorite Impact. And you can see with Pyros, as long as you trigger him before, it's really nice. It's like the corner of Dolores' shoulder on her portrait when she has like 33% less. It will line up perfectly that when he does his big ult. This is just random nerd knowledge. He does his big focus fire when he has half left in his ult. And he needs Dolores still ulting when he does that, or else he won't have inspiration. But that's basically it. You'll see the way it lines up. I was slightly early, which is good. Better a little early than late. Trigger Hollow. And now we can see right when we're hitting 50, and right when you're going to see him shoot, we're still ulting with Dolores. And this is where we really pay attention to Dolores. We can trigger Lust and trigger Lugaroo. You see, she got it right there. So I've timed it all out. The first one, you have to have a delay of 6 seconds. All subsequent ones, you have to have a delay of 11 seconds. And that's how we're assuming the worst case scenario, that she didn't get plus 300 rage. We can also keep an eye, and viewers, you can, while you watch, There'll be a little like yellow, orange plus 300 with a rage symbol above her head. Ideally, we want that to just not happen, and then we don't have to sit here counting and staring at the clock, but this time it happened. So we do that. So you can see it happened, I'll just tell you, at about 4 minutes. So we're gonna wait till about 3:54. You can also learn, like people with their own teams, how you can line it up with other heroes. So a nice one for your team is that you can just wait for Hex. It's like a great barometer. So Hex and then her. Really good. Okay. You can see I waited on Valeria there. We don't need her for the shield, so we don't need to put any of her great damage. She's only going once every shield anyway, once every rotation. No reason to put that damage into the shield. Could have worked, but we don't need it. Here comes Nocturne. And now again, we're just kind of staring at everybody's ult, and we're really staring at Dolores. See, it's not going to line up here with Dolores and Pyrus, but with your team, there's no way I can make that happen unless I really change the cycling entirely for the second one, or third one, I guess. Now we're going to stare at Dolores. Everyone can look at her character on the field, and we're going to see she gets plus 300. Of course she does. But here you go. So she's at 51%. But we don't start counting that 11 seconds until she's full. That's when like the presumption starts that it didn't happen, right? There's no other good way, at least for me, to count it myself. So when she's full, we're going to take a time check, and then 11 seconds later, that's when we know it's like good to ult.
Okay.
So let us continue. Just really staring at everything. Let's trigger Hollow.
Yeah.
You can see Laurel's coming back, and I was just talking about this with you off camera, but for anyone who doesn't know, Laurel has a passive that whenever she's on the field and an ally does their ult, they get for 8 seconds, this is when she's fully skilled up, a 20% damage boost. So I'm going to sit on the ults of Lust and Lugaru, or Lugaru. Apparently Lugaru is how you say it, because it comes from French.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it means werewolf in French, I think.
Interesting, okay.
But I'm going to wait to use their ult until Laurel's on the field, then might as well wait a few seconds, but then get a 20% boost. And for your comp, the timing works out well. So let's wait. So no reason to pick up Nocturne yet, because we need to wait for Laurel anyway. So you see, here's Dolores, so we can take our time check. Is at 3:14, so at 3:03, we should be good to go. Let's wait. And now we can pick up Nocturne. Let's go here. Let's trigger. We're not going to use Valeria. We don't want to risk her dying. We're being extra conservative. We don't have to deal with that headache we know all too well. Let's wait for 3. Oh, I clicked the second. There's 3:03. Let's go. We click. We're actually going to keep Laurel down, so then we can also get that damage increase boost for Pyrus and Hex. And here I am going to sit on Pyrus because Hex will get locked out. I have to wait till Hex is at about 97% for him to fit into Pyrus's window. So let's go here. There's the 97. Now we trigger, and now we should be good to go. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So we can pick up Laurel here. Now let's get forward down. Make sure he's in Lust range. Excuse me, that was almost the wrong spot. He needs to be in Lust whipping range. Let's get Hollow ulting. And now we can sit. Here it comes now. We trigger Valeria for the shield. And now we stare at Dolores once again. We can trigger Tortor right away. Trigger Lust right away. And let's see, is she going to get it? Of course she got it. She really wants me to teach the thing. Now she's at full, so now we can really count it out. So 40, we're going to wait till about 29.
It's 100% chance when we don't want it to happen.
Yeah. She's not doing us any favors, but what else is new? Trigger Lugaru, and here we go. Here's that 29. Now we can trigger her. People are also, depending on your rage regen, everybody, it will be slightly different. This is for your account, what I found, but it's going to be in this like 9 to 12 second range. For me, I found for your account, it's 11 seconds. So people can just like sit there and just basically count how long it takes while she does her little DJ spinning, graceful dancing. Count how long it takes for her to go up 33%, because that's 300 rage for her. For the ultra nerds out there like me. All right, so now we're kind of cruising. All we do is we can even throw it on 2x. I'm feeling dangerous. Are we going to trigger Hollow here? Now it's time to stare at Dolores again. I think she just wants our attention, really. So hopefully we get not a plus 300. Let's see. Of course we got it. So this is like the perfect run right now, but we have to, we're assuming it's the least perfect run. So we're going to keep pretending. So again, once she gets full again, we're going to wait 11 seconds. However, it likely will work out here that we're going to go for a Laurel boost anyway. So it shouldn't really affect it. So another thing we do to really like foolproof your run is I'm going to be insanely conservative right now prepping for the third shield. So I'm just going to hold nearly everything. Obviously, we're going to hold Valeria. We will go for an ult over here with Lust and with Pyrus, but everyone else we're just going to hold. A little busty lusty. So Lugaru, everybody, we're just holding. Except Hollow, obviously we can just trigger. We'll leave everyone out in the field. No reason to put Laurel down yet, because we're not triggering any ults, and we're not going to pick her up anytime soon. The last one will come just before a minute 30, for anyone who wants to track this themselves. You can even throw it on 2x here. So you can see we're being fully conservative, so that 11 seconds doesn't even matter. Torador, obviously we can trigger since he's the one getting picked up for Laurel. Now we're getting towards there, and here's the meteorite impact. So we can pick up Torador, not too much ult out of him. Now we put down Laurel, and now we're going to line this all up. So let's trigger. Let's wait till that happens. Come on. There. Now we can pick up. Now we go down the line. Trigger. Let's get Nocturne down. So no Laurel benefit for Valeria and Lust, but that's A-okay. So here we go, and now we lined up everything for the shield, so we should take it out quite nicely. Some big chunks, and there we go. No more headache for you, my friend. Pop. I think we did get it again there with Dolores. I don't know if you were looking, but she did come up immediately, which makes me think it did happen. So we are going to wait now for 56 seconds or whatever. But you can see, because we got the third shield, you're going to have plenty damage. And people can also see, you can also see we're leaving a ton of damage on the table because we're being so conservative. But this is what Dolores proofing is all about. It's just removing the headache. When you get closer to thinking 50K is a possibility, you can revisit this. But what's the difference between 26K and 46K, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like, and you'll see your numbers go up, and this will get less and less sweaty as your gear gets better and your artifacts get better. Maybe you get skill ups into more heroes. But for now, it's just like, you'd have to be a crazy min-maxer to care. And I don't care about 30K or 40K. You know, if it works, it
No. Yeah.
We're waiting for that 56. We can actually, again, with your account, it's going to line up nice. We can just time it out with Lugaru. Right when he goes yellow, we can go. Now we'll just trigger everybody. Keeping on Laurel just to time out the rest. And then what I will do for you is I will be really aggressive whenever Dolores pops out for the last one, because at this point you already have enough damage, so might as well just be aggressive for the last 40 seconds or whatever it's going to come out as. And here we can also be really aggressive with Valeria, because if she dies at this point, I don't care. We already have the damage. Let's go. Trigger Lust. And there we go. We got that 25K.
Yeah, easy work.
Nice. Gonna line up pretty perfectly with Laurel and Hex. I am actually gonna wait because I think the 20% boost will be worth it. Valeria dies right on cue. Lovely. So now we can keep Laurel down. He'll trigger, and I'm already gonna pick up. I don't care. Let's get Torador down because now we're just finishing off the fight, doing our best, triggering everybody. Throw it on 2x. Keep on the auto ult. I'll click anyway. You see, Nocturne got locked out, but that's life. And we should be looking at, I don't know, 28K, 29K, something like that. This is all just about being conservative, not sweating the small stuff, and there you go, 28.9. And literally, from my pretty deep knowledge, I don't think a single thing was left to chance. Could you miss some crits here and there? Sure. Would that result in a difference of 3,949 damage or blood? There's no chance. Yeah. So there is the comp. We did it.
Man, Lust is crazy, dude.
Lust is so good. If you run a proper Nightmare team, Lust is about it. She's just so good. She's one of the best guild boss carries in the whole game.
She's become one of my favorites in the game everywhere. I've started using her a lot.
Especially for your account with Torador. You know, you've got the perfect Lord. They still need to fix her interaction with him. I don't know if you know. She's not doing the extra hits. So once that happens,
I remember you mentioned that.
She's only going to be better for you, which is crazy. If she wasn't good enough for you already. But I'm actually not even going to save this because there was a couple tiny things I missed. But I did it exactly as I wanted to prove the point. But the run I did last night was even cleaner. There you go. It's going to work. Any final thoughts? Maybe this. I don't want you to quit the game. Basically, that's why I keep coming back.
No, I think we're okay. Other than that, I think Void Rift is my only real big gripe about the game right now.
Well, I was telling you before we were filming, like if you want, my advice to you, just generally, I'll throw it in now for Void Rift, is just do lower then, because it's gonna the gear requirement it takes to clear a difficulty level of Void Rift, like let's say hard, is much lower than it is to always clear hard on auto. Like basically for me to be able to clear Nightmare on auto without worrying about the buffs and debuffs, I had to get my gear way beyond where it was just to beat Nightmare for the first time. So I'd say just go with the lower one, save yourself the headache until you're feeling up to it. and you're just so overpowered, you can just,
Yeah.
manhandle it.
I really want to get my gear raids sorted. 2 is fine. 1, I'm really trying to work on. And now that I have Artemis, I think obviously there's something there, but I got to get my gear up on him because I think he's pretty stat needy.
He's pretty
right?
hungry, and I don't think you got him A1, but he's still amazing at A0. But you really, he's really, he needs like every stat.
Yeah, Cratch snuck in place of my A1 Artemis.
I mean, just as good. I just want to show people this was your best auto that you ran today yourself with the comp we set last night, which was identical. And you guys can see it's just steady, not too much to think about. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. I've seen your videos and you're just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Makes me nervous. I guess I'll show people one final thing, and then you have any final words and we can end this thing right there. I just want to say you've got about 3.2 million BP. I think that might be a little high for people to start thinking about this, but this isn't the kind of thing you can do without like just giving up on Dolores. Essentially, you're giving up on part of her kit until you're a bit stronger. So maybe before when you're at like 2.4, I mean, BP is not a perfect gauge, but just to try to give you guys a sense of perspective, you do need a pretty advanced account to be like, you know what, best here in the game, let's ignore a chunk of her kit, like one of the best pieces of her kit. So,
right.
Yeah. But when you can get there, it's a really nice thing. And I'm just starting to do that now. Get ready to do that for my 50K, because I hate it too, man. I hate it too.
You mentioned manualing it every day for your 50K, right?
Yeah.
You're
so
a
if I
madman.
manual it, I always get it, but it's still manualing it. So there's human error all the time. So it can take me like 3-4 attempts. And, doing it on mostly 1X or a mix of 1X and 2X takes me like 5 to 7 minutes. I hate it.
It's amazing how like intense the goal to not play these games is. That's my goal, is to play this game as little as possible.
Dude, I'm so good, I barely play.
Yeah, it's such a strange gauge.
Yes.
I don't think that exists anywhere else in gaming.
No,
other
it's
than mobile
actually
games.
so true, because like people come to me, it's like mission accomplished, but wait, now I just have to try at it. That's hard. And like I totally get it. I feel the same way, because it's like you work so hard for it, and then it's like, but I still have to work,
Right. Sometimes I'm in the mood for it, and I love the problem solving, and then other times I'm like, I just want to hit auto and
for
not
sure.
have to think about it. So.
I'm 100% with you. I mean, it's a nice balance. But stick with it. Don't leave us just yet.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Absolutely. Any last things you want to say? Anything you need to plug before I let you go?
No, man. I appreciate you doing this. It is a huge help to me. It's funny that when you did it the first time I got my 50K chest, I got a legendary soulstone. And it's the first time I've ever
seen. When we beat your 318 and you had all your 18s, you got an IX, man. That's the magic.
Yeah. You have the magic touch for making interesting stuff happen in the account. So I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for lending your account. I think your account actually was at the perfect level to show this, because it's not like we put up like 38K and it's like, see, it works on auto. It's like, no, it's like 29 to 32 is what I've got on manual, but it holds on auto, and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on, my friend. Guys, go check out JGigs. I'll have his info in the description and the top pinned comment. Early thank you to Mitchell for editing this. I'll see you guys very I'll see you guys very soon. Share with your mother. Bye.
Fastidious.